XLM had a massive weekly candle just 2 weeks ago. Now, although the markets are going through a little bit of a pullback at the time of recording, as you can take a look here from CoinMarketCap, Bitcoin down almost 0.75%, ETH down 3%. We go down to Stellar, down 8% on the 24-hour, still holding above that key 41.5-cent level. We'll take a look at an XLM chart. We'll break down the price action. And if you are looking for a buy the dip opportunity or a potential long entry on XLM, I'll give you some of those targets as well. So before we jump in, make sure to like the video and let's get started. Little piece of news here posted on the Stellar X handle. Around $460 million of Franklin Templeton's Benji Fund is held on the Stellar network. According to Andrew Crawford at Franklin Templeton Digital Assets, the firm is able to cut its record-keeping costs. Listen to this. For every 50,000 transactions, they were spending $50,000. Now, with it being on Stellar, they're spending 120. Okay. Somebody watching, pull out a calculator, do the math, and tell me what percentage reduction that is, or what percentage of the 50,000 transactions, or what does it come out to per transaction when it comes to cost? Because they went from $1 per transaction to, I'm assuming, a meme coin price, right? A bunch of zeros and a 1 or a 2 or a 3. Do the math. Let me know in the comment section because I am curious. I don't have the time to do it now live because I'm trying to bring you guys some great content. We also take a look here. Now, although on the 24-hour, Stellar Lumens here on DeFi Llama is down for their TVL-wise, you take a look at this chart here. It was really just flatline from December of 2021 through February of 2024. We did see a little bit of a spike when it went from around 8.5 million up to around 10 million. This was between the middle of February to the end of February. So middle to end of February. And then another lull. And then just a massive explosion specifically since the beginning of July, going from on July 2nd, 82 million in total value locked to currently 143 million. It has absolutely exploded. You can see the DEX volume has gone up. Fees paid is at 2364 over the last 24 hours. XLM is not just a payments network. It's also big in RWAs. But of course, with the Genius bill being passed, stable coins have been front and center, and rightfully so. And outside of maybe having XRP in the mix, there's really no payment infrastructure, payment rails that do it cheaper, faster, and better than Stellar does it. And some might even argue, maybe you argue, that it does it better than XRP does. I would put both XRP and XLM at the top. If I had to give a nudge, right, a little nudge, I would probably give it to XLM. The time to finality and their fees are extremely cheap. Now, in my last XLM video, got like 11,000 views. And I asked in that video, I said, What's a community name for XLM holders, right? And so I want to share some of the answers you guys gave, the community gave. And maybe this is some of you watching. Sean M said Stellar Fellers. I kind of like that. Stellar Fellers. Reminds me of the movie Casino or Goodfellas, right? In Vegas. Great movie. I love those Italian mob movies. I like it. Lumineers, not a bad one. XLMians, not sure about that. XLM Maximus sounds like something Elon Musk would change his profile handle to. I like this one too. XLM Men. But it's, what about the ladies that hold XLM? XRP Army, that's a funny one. And then the other one was Luminites. And so shout out to you guys. Thank you for all the wonderful comments on the videos, and to the haters who also comment, thank you as well. Let's jump in to the XLM chart. This is XLM on the weekly. You can see here we have our volume range pulled up. Tons of volume coming in here. Turns out to be, at the moment, sell volume. But after this chart, look, popped a boner here, my friend. Sorry to be a little lewd here, but I mean, this is just it took out, let's see how many highs this thing took out. Took out 1 high, 2 high. It took out 3 highs going all the way back to December of last year in one single weekly candle. It was a massive move, and the pullback you're seeing is actually a good thing. You want to see this pullback. Now, the high that we need to keep our eye on, right? The obvious here is going to be this high, which I'll drop a flag. currently sits at close. We're not going to measure the wick. We're going to measure the close, 56.22 cents. We want to break above, stay above, and build support on top of this key level for XLM. New all-time highs, plus obviously momentum, taking out the highs, yada, yada. You guys know the deal. We take a look at market cipher B here. Money flow still in the red, although barely. We are going to get that crossover. I mean, look how quick this thing U-turned and is about to cross to the upside. VWAP extended. Hasn't been this extended since November of last year. Look at the RSI and stochastics, just had an absolute massive run. It is starting to cool off, but the same way we measure patterns and we find patterns on price action, we did the same thing on RSI, potentially a little bit of a bull flag that should break to the upside. Once we, it'll be interesting to keep an eye on this weekly market cipher RSI here, because once we see this start to move up or either go into a V-shape or a U-shape recovery and start tilting up again, you know the momentum is back. Now let's go to the daily time frame here on XLM. Now there is a big, actually not big, it's a fair, you know what, I think it was on the weekly. Yeah, the weekly has a massive, massive fair value gap. And this thing reaches, and I'll drop some flags so everyone can see, from 25.3 cents up to 43 cents. Now this gap, not every gap gets filled, correct? Now, half of this gap can get filled. We do have some confluence here with our fair value gap and our equilibrium zone, which sits at, let me grab my cursor. Let me drag these up here, which sits at 34 and 38 cents. So 33.9 and 38.2 cents. If we do get a deeper pullback and this continues, I would expect that zone, that level, to hold up support. What we can also do is we can draw our Fibonacci's and see if there's any confluence there. We do have our 50% retracement level sitting right on top of our equilibrium zone, again, 37.2 cents. Now, this could also be coming into a massive weekly bull flag pattern that extends down to our 50% retracement. And let me tell you something. When this bounce happens, do not be sidelined. When this bounce happens, if you're a trader, actually, I should say, when this bounce happens, I'm a trader and I will be having a massive long position in on XLM. Now, do we get all the way down there? I don't know. Is it likely? I'm 50-50. We'll see how deep this pullback goes. We're coming to the tail end of summer. Fed meeting next week. A lot of things happening, a lot of good, a lot of uncertainty. When money market funds move. So there's a lot of things up in the air that could either validate or invalidate this bull flag. Also, you're flagging on the daily as well, right? A lot of these time frames, unless you get below like the 1 hour, see a lot of very similar patterns. Same thing here. Now, this on the daily, though, this gap looks like it's completely filled, okay? And the gap I'm talking about is this shaded green area here. And if those curious, I'm using the Lux Algo price action concepts. So this gap was filled. Now we are trading below our previous week low. Ideally, we'd want this thing to turn out to be a wick and kind of push to the upside and close above our previous week low, which currently sits at around 42.99 cents. But either way, the gap has been filled. So we should see at least a little bit of a bounce here from XLM. There is a gap a little deeper down here, which kind of coincides with our weekly gap, 30 to 35 cents. We take a peek at market cipher A, nothing to see here as far as indicators or warning signs. We look at market cipher B. VWAP is expanding to the downside. That means momentum is shifting to the to the bears. And you can see this massive spill off of this momentum wave. Just a deep spill off. We'll see where this thing stops. Will it cross below our midline? I don't know. We want to, again, same on the weekly as we do on the daily, keep an eye on these momentum indicators, the stochastics and the RSI. Money flow is back in the red as well. Now, this one thing with XLM is the money flow has been in the red for a better part of this, I would call it, since the beginning of the year. Again, this is on the daily. There's 3 blips. 1, 2, 3, where we've had small deviations to the upside as far as money flow breaking above the 0 line and entering into the green. Outside of that, all the runs that XLM has had has been when money flow has been in the red. So that's also one thing to keep in mind. So the synopsis here is look for that fair value gap, that equilibrium zone, which also has some confluence with our 50% fib level on the weekly. I will personally be entering into probably a 15 to 20x leverage long position on XLM. So set your alerts there. And hey, markets might turn around and XLM rips to that 56.13 cent level, takes out that high, and now you're in blue sky territory. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Thank you all so much for tuning in, and come check out our live show Monday through Friday at 10:30 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. Till the next one. Peace.